25 degrees in Chicago right now, 10 below wind chills in Buffalo, and there's a snowstorm that kind of crept up on us forming across the Ohio Valley as we speak. 180,000 homes still sitting in the dark from that bomb cyclone. A second round of snow is headed for the Carolinas, and I mean another Arctic blast is already loading up behind it. But here's the part nobody's really talking about yet. There's a pattern flip coming that could swing temperatures 50 to 60 degrees in less than a week. And that is no joke. Drop your city in the comments right now, especially if you're anywhere from the Ohio Valley down to the Carolinas, because I'm going to get to your specific forecast here in a minute. So I pulled up the latest model runs, I don't know, about 30 minutes ago. And honestly, this Tuesday-Wednesday system is looking more organized than it did yesterday. And look, right now, as of this evening, most of the country is pretty quiet. But enjoy that while it lasts, because that quiet is about to end real fast. We got some snow showers flying around the Great Lakes, some lake effect stuff across Michigan and upstate New York, but I mean nothing to write home about at the moment. Out west, rain showers moving into western Washington, higher elevation snow in the Cascades, which honestly they desperately need after the snow drought they've been dealing with. But okay, the real game in town starts tomorrow, and I really want to make sure everybody in the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic understands what's coming. By tomorrow afternoon around 3 o'clock, we're expecting a band of snow to fire up from about St. Louis all the way through Louisville, Cincinnati, into Charleston, West Virginia, Interstate 64. And I mean, this thing could be a mess during rush hour Tuesday afternoon, so if you're commuting through there, you might want to leave early. And here's what gives me confidence on this one. The Euro, the GFS, and even the Canadian model are all pretty much on the same page, which you don't always see. All three are showing a minor to moderate snow event. We're talking 1 to 3 inches for most folks. Maybe, and I mean maybe, up to 4 or 5 in the heaviest bands. Cincinnati and Charleston, West Virginia, probably looking at the higher end there, a couple inches, while Indy and Lexington, more like an inch or so. Even DC could pick up a coating, maybe half an inch, as this thing slides east Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So just keep that on your radar. Now, here's the thing about these smaller systems, right? And I've been saying this all winter. These are the ones that kind of sneak up and catch people off guard. Everybody was on high alert for the bomb cyclone last weekend, rightfully so. But then these quick hitting events come through and, suddenly somebody's got 4 inches. I guarantee you there's going to be some random spot that ends up way overperforming. That's just how these sneaky systems work, right? But wait, it doesn't stop there, because as this Ohio Valley system moves through, there's moisture kind of wrapping around the backside, and here's where it gets interesting. By Wednesday afternoon and evening, we start seeing snow pop up again across Virginia, North Carolina, even into upstate South Carolina. So the rich just keep getting richer. And I know folks in the Carolinas are sitting there like, come on, man, we just dug out from a foot of snow, and now you're telling us more is coming? And look, I totally get it, but the models are showing 1 to 3 inches possible from eastern Kentucky through West Virginia into northern North Carolina. The National Weather Service offices are already flagging this, so it's not just me reading tea leaves here. This thing is legit, and it's getting attention. And here's why even a little bit of snow matters down there. It's the same exact areas that just got hammered, and anything fresh is going to refreeze overnight. So even if it's just an inch, the secondary roads and bridges that are still icy, that refreshes all those concerns and makes travel sketchy again. And then further south, you got portions of Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia picking up some spotty rain showers Tuesday into Wednesday. Not a huge deal by itself, but some of that rain falling on snowpack in the Carolina foothills could, create some localized flooding. So just be aware. All right, so let's get into your city-by-city breakdown, because I know that's what a lot of y'all came here for. So let's start up in the Northeast. New York City, high of 32, low of 18, mostly cloudy, flurries possible, but honestly probably just a trace if anything. Cold and windy though. Boston, high of 30, low around 15, partly cloudy, chance of flurries, and those wind chills. They'll have it feeling like single digits at times. Philly at 35 for the high, low of 20. Clearing out, dry day ahead, but it's still definitely bundle up weather. No question about that. DC looking at a high of 38, low of 22. Sunny after the storm, but remember that coating of snow I mentioned from the Tuesday night system? Keep that in mind. Baltimore at 36, Pittsburgh only hitting 28, and Pittsburgh is right in the zone for 1 to 3 inches from that Tuesday system. So heads up if you're out that way. Buffalo at 25 for the high, low of 10, and this is where the lake effect machine really kicks in. You could easily see 1 to 3 inches pile up. Okay, so moving to the Midwest, and look, I know you guys are used to this kind of cold, but some of these numbers are still, nothing to shake a stick at. Chicago, high of 25, low of 10, snow showers possible, wind chills making it feel like negative 10, so yeah, it's just one of those days where you layer up. Detroit at 24 for the high, low of 11, and with the Great Lakes enhancement, you could pretty easily see 1 to 2 inches stack up there. Milwaukee sitting at 23, Minneapolis at only 20 with a low of 5, and those northern Minnesota wind chills, we're talking 10 to 20 below, no joke. If you're up in Minnesota right now, seriously, multiple layers, cover all exposed skin because frostbite sets in fast at those levels. Cleveland at 27, Columbus 29, Indy at 30, Cincinnati at 31, all of them right in the bullseye for where that Tuesday snow system could make things interesting. St. Louis at 32, mostly sunny and dry. You're kind of on the western edge here, so you should escape the worst of it, which is good news for y'all. Kansas City at 35, Omaha at 30 with flurries possible, and Louisville at 36, but right in the path of that Tuesday afternoon snow band, so be ready for that. So what does it look like further south? Well, honestly, this is where the story has just been wild, like absolutely wild over the past few days. Atlanta hitting 48 tomorrow, low of 28, sunny and dry, but frost is still possible tonight. We're still running well below normal for early February down there. Charlotte at 45, Raleigh at 46, both clearing out nicely, but those overnight lows in the mid-20s mean, everything refreezes after dark. Nashville at 42, Memphis at 44, both sunny and dry. The Tennessee Valley is kind of catching its breath before that midweek system rolls in. And for those of you still sitting there without power from last weekend, the warm-up into the 40s should at least help a little with the melt. We're still tracking tens of thousands of people without power in Tennessee and Mississippi from that ice storm, and in the Carolinas from the nor'easter, which is just rough. The warmer air is welcome for sure, even if it does come with some sneaky snow and maybe a few rumbles of thunder down south later in the week. Now, Florida, oh man, you guys have had quite a ride. So let me give you the good news because things are bouncing back and it's looking a whole lot better. Miami bouncing back to 68 for the high, low of 48, sunny and gorgeous. And that's a far cry from that 35-degree record low you had just a couple days ago, right? Tampa at 62, Orlando at 65, Jacksonville at 58. The Sunshine State is finally starting to, actually earn its name again. There's still some frost risk in northern Florida tonight, but by midweek, you're back in the 70s, and this whole thing just becomes a crazy story to tell. And those iguanas should be waking back up any day now, which, I don't know, I'm sure some folks in South Florida are relieved about that, or maybe not, right? Okay, let me hit a few more southern cities real quick. New Orleans at 55, Houston at 58, Dallas at 52, all sunny and dry, nothing to worry about. Austin at 55, San Antonio at 57, El Paso at 60. Texas is through the worst of it and honestly warming up pretty nicely through the week. OKC at 45, mostly sunny, and this is a region that's just been feast or famine all winter. You either get spring-like weather or an Arctic blast. There is no in between. And check this out. Let's flip over to the West Coast because it's honestly like a completely different planet compared to what we've been dealing with out east. LA at 65, San Diego at 64, sunny, gorgeous, the kind of day where you're just sitting outside in a t-shirt in February. Must be nice, right? San Francisco at 58, Sacramento at 60. The Bay Area is mild and comfortable. Feels more like late March, honestly, than early February. Phoenix at 68, Tucson pushing 70, Vegas at 58. The Southwest is just cruising along. And good for them. Somebody should be enjoying this winter.
Seattle at 48 with rain showers. Portland at 50. That's really the only spot out west seeing any real precipitation right now. The Cascades are picking up some mountain snow, which is honestly really good news because something like 90% of their water supply comes from winter snowpack. Without that snow, they don't have water come summer. So every single inch that falls up in those mountains helps with the drought situation. It really does. Denver at 42 today, Colorado Springs at 40, both sunny. But check this out. Denver is projected to hit near 65 by later this week. 65 in February. That's 45 degrees above normal, which is just wild and really shows you how crazy amplified this ridge pattern has gotten out west. Albuquerque at 48, Salt Lake at about 42, Anchorage at 25 with snow showers, and yeah, even Honolulu checking in at 78 with some tropical showers. All right, so now I want to kind of zoom out here and talk big picture because there are some major changes coming down the pike, and I think you really need to know about this. This warm west, cold east pattern we've been locked into all winter, it's about to get even more extreme before it eventually breaks down. That ridge out west is getting stronger, which just keeps funneling the cold air right at us in the eastern two-thirds. I mean, it's been relentless. Think of it like a seesaw, right? Whatever happens out west, the east gets the opposite. And right now the west is way up, which means we're way down. And guess what's riding over the top of that ridge by Thursday and Friday? A powerful Arctic front diving southeast out of Canada. And it's bringing the goods. Gusty winds and snow squalls into Michigan by Friday morning, pushing into northern Indiana, Ohio, and eventually making a run at the northeast. Friday afternoon into the evening rush, New York, Pittsburgh, Albany, Boston, Portland, Maine, all of them could see snow showers with some pretty gusty winds. And then Saturday morning, oh boy, the bottom drops out. We're talking wind chills of -30 upstate New York, maybe -40 up in Vermont. Parts of New Hampshire and western Maine, Sunday morning, those wind chills could hit 30 to 45 below. And that's not a typo. That is seriously dangerous. At those levels, frostbite sets in within 10 minutes, and I would expect extreme cold warnings to go up later this week for the weekend, so get ready for that. This could honestly be the coldest weekend of the entire winter for the Northeast. And with all that snow already on the ground, I mean, it's going to be punishing. Now, here's the turn, and this is the part I mentioned at the top that really has me fascinated right now. After this weekend's Arctic blast, the models are showing a dramatic warm-up kicking in around February 8th through the 10th, like a real pattern flip. We could go from 25 to 40 below normal on Saturday to 20 to 30 above normal just a few days later. And I'm not making that up. That's what the data is showing. So you want to know what a 50 to 60 degree swing looks like? Well, we might be about to find out, and honestly, that kind of volatility creates real problems. Rapid snow melt, flooding potential where there's deep snowpack, and all that temperature contrast, I mean, that breeds instability, and that's when things get wild. The EPO, that's the East Pacific Oscillation for the weather nerds out there, is trending positive, which basically supports warmer air pushing into the east. From roughly the 8th through the 15th, we could see the main cold get bottled up in Alaska and northwest Canada instead of, just setting on top of us like it has been. That means the Heartland, Midwest, Ohio Valley, even the Northeast could finally catch a break and see temps climb above normal for a stretch, which would be nice. Now, I know some people are going to hear that and go, see, winter's over, I told you, but hold on, because the long range tells a very different story. By the third week of February, around the 15th through the 22nd, that cold air starts reloading up in Alaska and western Canada, and it starts working its way south. A ridge builds from the North Pacific up toward the Bering Strait, and that's basically the door opening for Arctic air to drain into the western U.S. this time. So the West, which has been living its best life all winter with spring temps, could finally get a taste of what we've been dealing with, and honestly, fair's fair, right? And by the fourth week, that cross-polar flow could send another batch of Arctic air down into the central and eastern states. So we're right back in. Some of the longer range models, and take this with a grain of salt, even show some punishing cold extending into early March.
maybe reaching southern Texas and the Gulf. So Punxsutawney Phil called for 6 more weeks of winter yesterday. And honestly, looking at these models, I think that daggone groundhog might be on to something. All right, so let me lay out the snow prospects real quick, week by week, because there's honestly a lot to keep an eye on beyond just this Tuesday, Wednesday system. This week, Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic snow Tuesday into Wednesday, 1 to 4 inches. Plus that sneaky Carolinas and Virginia snow Wednesday night, so watch for that. This weekend, the Arctic front brings snow showers and squalls Friday into Saturday for the Great Lakes, Midwest, Northeast, and then the extreme cold settles in behind it. Week 2 of February, 8th through the 15th, mountain snow out west as the ridge shifts, and there's a potential storm system brewing for the Midwest around mid-month. Week 3, 15th through the 22nd, and this is where it gets really interesting. There's a major snowstorm signal that keeps popping up for the plains into the Great Lakes and Northeast. And you want to know what else that third week pattern is showing? The first real severe weather signal of the season across the southern plains. We could see a setup for thunderstorms and severe weather from about Dallas to Shreveport up to Nashville, roughly around February 14th through the 21st. Now, it's way too early to get specific on that. I mean, we're talking almost 2 weeks out, but the signal is there, and it's the first time we've seen it this season. Last week of February, more clipper systems diving down from Canada into the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, kind of that northwest flow snow setup. And further south in that same window, we may have to start watching for heavy rain and early season severe weather through the deep south, so stay tuned on that. So bottom line here, folks, February is shaping up to be a really active month. We got cold, we got snow, a brief warm-up, and then more cold rolling right back in. Winter is not over, not by a long shot, and honestly, I would not be one bit surprised if March throws a few more punches before spring finally shows up. All right, I've been getting a ton of messages asking about specific areas, so let me rattle off a few more cities real quick before we wrap this thing up. Reno at about 45, sunny, Boise at 42 with some light mountain snow nearby, Billings, Montana at 35 and kind of breezy out there, Rapid City at 32. Dry for now, but you're going to be on the edge of that clipper snow later in the week, so don't let your guard down. Fargo at 18, Duluth at 15, Green Bay at 22, all of them just locked in the deep freeze with wind chills that make it feel a whole lot worse. Birmingham at 48, Jackson, Mississippi at 48, Little Rock at 42. The deep south is getting a breather, but that midweek moisture is headed their way. Savannah at 52, Charleston, South Carolina at 48, Wilmington at 46. The Carolina coast is clearing, but man, those overnight lows are still frosty. Portland, Maine at 28, Burlington at 22, Hartford at 32, and the northern Northeast especially needs to get ready for a really rough weekend. Richmond at 40, Norfolk at 42, Knoxville at 42, Chattanooga at 45. All dry tomorrow, but keep an eye on that Wednesday system sneaking in. Wichita at 40 with possible snow diving south by Wednesday morning. Tulsa at 42. Springfield, Missouri at 38. The southern plains are kind of in that transition zone. And for those of you who keep asking about Tucson, you're at 70 degrees tomorrow? I mean, come on. I don't want to hear any complaining from you guys, all right? Okay, real quick before I let you go. If you're still dealing with power outages and cold temps, please keep generators outside and away from any windows. Carbon monoxide doesn't have a smell, doesn't have a color, and it takes lives every single winter. This is not something to mess around with. Check on your neighbors, especially the elderly, anybody living alone. A quick phone call or knock on the door, I mean, it really can make all the difference. And for anybody who's been without heat, most cities have warming centers open right now. Check with your local emergency management for the nearest one. All right, so what am I watching most closely over the next 24 to 48 hours? 3 things, and I want you to keep these on your radar. Number 1, that Tuesday afternoon snow band from Louisville through Cincinnati to Charleston, because that thing could get more organized than models are currently showing. Number 2, the Wednesday night snow for the Carolinas and Virginia, because with all that snowpack already on the ground, even a couple inches creates real headaches. And number 3,
that weekend Arctic blast, because the wind chill numbers I'm seeing for Saturday and Sunday in the Northeast are, honestly, they're scary. The models have been kind of wobbling on that Thursday Clipper track, and if it shifts just 50 miles, I mean, the whole snow forecast changes, just like that. I'll be watching the overnight runs real close, and I'll have a full update first thing tomorrow morning. And if anything changes big, I'll get a video out right away. If this was helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button. It seriously helps more people find these videos when the weather gets dangerous. And if you're not subscribed yet, now's a great time. I put out daily forecast, and I try to keep you one step ahead of whatever's headed your way. Drop your city and what it's doing outside your window right now. I actually love reading those reports from all over the country. And let me know what region you want me to dive deeper on in tomorrow's video. I'll try to spend some extra time on whatever areas y'all are most curious about. Stay warm, stay safe, keep an eye on those overnight lows tonight, and I'll see you first thing in the morning with the new model data. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate each and every one of you. Take care of yourselves and each other out there.